you can actually read. Grab some mics. There's one right there. Actually, no, I need that. Okay, we'll get started. Happy March. Can you believe it? Smile. Yes, yes, yes. I will remember to do that. Welcome to the March Community Life Forum. We have a couple of special guests today, and they're actually going to launch us. So I'd like to introduce Dave Lafferty, the CIO for the Riverwoods Group. He's going to come up and talk a little bit about the most recent Comcast issue and answer any questions that you have. So welcome, Dave.
Thank you, Natalie. Can everyone hear me okay? Great. So again, I'm Dave Lafferty. I'm the Chief Information Officer here at Riverwoods. New to the organization, not quite as new. I joined back in mid-October, and I'm just happy to be here. My team obviously supports all of our technology, not only for Riverwoods Durham, but also for our communities in Manchester and in Exeter. So you may have seen a number of memos and communications from me not too long ago in regards to an issue that was affecting our residents that are Comcast email customers. Kind of a unique issue. Unfortunately, it affected many of our residents' ability to send email via Comcast, right? It didn't affect inbound email, just sending email, particularly aggravating. The good news is that Comcast has some really effective measures in place to prevent against things like malicious email, spam, and so on. And in actuality, it's actually what's called kind of a behavioral-based system. So what was happening is Comcast was detecting a number of residents here in Durham where their systems could be their tablet, their phone, could be their laptop, were attempting to log in repeatedly to Comcast email servers throughout the day. In one instance, we identified a computer that was attempting to log into their email server 7,000 times a day. So, what's that? Well, it was actually 6,000 for you and 1,000. But, you know, obviously, if you look at that's definitely inconsistent behavior. So what Comcast does is they block the ability for sending emails for a period of up to 24 hours. What's unique in how Riverwoods sends our email to Comcast, we look like basically one household is the easiest way to describe it. So it would be no different if you were in your own home somewhere in the neighborhood and not here at Riverwoods, that email is blocked for that household. Think of Durham as that household. So it was affecting all of our Comcast residents, particularly frustrating. The good news is that we worked with Comcast engineering team. We were able to identify the few residents where this was an issue. I think at the end of the day, we worked with 7 of our residents having similar issues. And here's what we found. Most often, we found situations where the resident had changed their email password, okay? What happens sometimes is you go to the Comcast website and you change your password there, but you might forget that you've got an email application on your iPhone, maybe you've got one on your iPad as well, and if you don't change the password there, those devices are gonna keep trying to log into Comcast all day long. Typically, every few minutes, they're gonna try to log in, they're gonna fail. Other providers, it's not usually an issue. If you attempt to log in and you can't, an error message comes up and that's the end of it. But in Comcast's case, because of that behavioral-based system, it identified that activity, thought it was suspicious, and basically shut us off. So the easiest thing you can do is when you're changing your passwords, make sure that you change that password on all of your devices. So you change it on the website, make sure you also check your iPad, your smartphone, and also your home computer. Interestingly, there are some other behaviors that Comcast looks for, and I'll just share that with you. Not that I anticipate anyone here is going to try to break that, but Comcast also looks for situations where a particular user, an email account, will attempt to send more than 1,000 messages per day. That's going to trip off their system, okay? So many of you, if you're a frequent emailer, great, but you want to try to stay below that 1,000 message limit. I mean, it's pretty far up there, so it's not too much of an issue. The other thing they look for, which could become an issue, is when you're emailing to more than 100 recipients in a single email, okay? So again, it's not something that I would typically expect to see, but it's just a couple of areas that you should watch out for. And all of this you can find on Comcast's website, looking at what their security control measures are, okay? The reason I share that is because it's one of those problems where we've resolved it this time, but it could recur again in the future. So I want to share with you a couple of things that you can do to help us prevent that from recurring. However, if it does come back, my team working in conjunction with Comcast, we now have a very, very good method to fairly quickly identify this issue now that we know what it is, work with our resident to resolve that and get everybody back up and running pretty quickly, okay? So I just wanted to share that with you. I'm happy to take any questions on that while I'm here. Yes. Wait for the microphone, sorry.
My understanding is if one person, because I was one of the 7 contacted,
It's okay. It stays in this room. What happens in the room stays in the room. It's all good.
then everyone is affected, right?
Yeah, correct. That's what I was sharing. When you look at the Riverwoods Durham community as a single household, that's really what happens. We basically pass all of the email from Durham directly over to Comcast. So to Comcast, we look like one house. So that's correct. One resident's activity could affect all Comcast users in the community, correct? Anything else? Yes, sir.
I just want to voice my appreciation for everything that you and your people have done. And more than that, for the communication lines that you kept open with us. It's nice to constantly or frequently be reminded that you're still aware of the problem, you're working on it, that you've made some progress here. It's much better than simply sitting in the dark for 8 months wondering whether that guy forgot about it or whatever. So thank you for the communication as well as the results.
No, you're very welcome. I'm happy we could help. I've committed to my team since I've been here that we will work with Kim's team here in our other communities to be completely transparent when issues like this come up. Even if we don't know what's causing the issue, but we know it's affecting you in some way based on our systems, I'll let you know that. We're aware of the issue. We haven't figured it out yet, but we're working on it. And I kind of did that with this particular issue. So thank you for the acknowledgement. And that's my mode of operandi, so to speak, moving forward. And I look forward to supporting you. You're the reason why we're here. Yes, sir.
I don't have Comcast. I've always had some other provider, but I'm really not sure how changing that you would need to change the passwords on all your devices, because typically if you're trying to contact your provider, no matter what vehicle you're using, you enter the password that you've set up with that provider and get into your account. So maybe after this program is over, you can explain to me how that really works.
Sure. No, it's a great question, and it is a bit of a nuance. I'm happy to share for the group, but I'll definitely stick around and we can chat further. So many people, not myself, many people just use what's called webmail, where you open your internet browser, you go to the Comcast email website, and that's where you get your email. Okay. On something like a tablet, like an iPad or on a smartphone, it's not so easy to do that, obviously, because of the small form factor and the size, okay? So those devices come with an installed mail application that works a little bit differently, because in that case, the software on the device itself actually has to store that password. So what happens is if you're using webmail all day long on the browser, you change your password, and you're good if that's the only way that you access email. But your phone is over here with the saved old invalid password still trying to get the email. So that's the distinction. I hope that helps answer your question. Yes, another question in back.
Are you all familiar with BreezeLine? It's the new name for, used to be MetroCast, and then it was MetroCast, and then now it changed, and now it's going to be BreezeLine, and they're just changing.
I'm sorry, I'm not understanding your question. Are you
Well,
asking about
yeah.
MetroCast as an internet provider?
Yes, it was, but now it's called BreezeLine, and in between it was something.
So for your benefit, we use at Riverwoods here, we use a different internet service provider. It's a company called First Light. Okay.
Right.
And they provide all the internet services. And in this particular case affecting Comcast email, that's why it was a bit ironic because we're not using Comcast internet connection. We are using First Light's internet dealing with Comcast email server. So it was a bit of an interesting twist, but that's the same service that we provide for residents here in our other communities as well. Yes, another question over here.
I'm not a real internet guru, but I came here with two email addresses. I came here with two email addresses, Gmail and Comcast, and I've been using them, and I found the Gmail won't sync with the Comcast anymore, and they're separate. But am I causing a problem if I use them separately?
So the question was, you have two email accounts, one Gmail, one Comcast.
Yeah.
Right? They're separate accounts. And does that have an issue or does that contribute to this problem we talked about today? The answer is no. This issue
Okay.
only affects Comcast email. So sometimes what folks do is they have two email accounts and you can set up your Gmail to forward to Comcast.
It
So
used
that-
to do that until I got here, and it won't do it anymore. So so I need some tech help probably.
Okay. It could be that Comcast, again, has changed their policies where they're not allowing the forwarding rather. But I'd be happy to talk to you offline after the meeting and see if there's something we can do to help. Sure.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay. Yes, sir. Another question in front.
Yeah, I have a question on the TV cable. Running into stuttering where the audio breaks out and comes back in fairly frequently on all the programs, sports or regular other TV programs. It just like it stops for a second and then comes back in. And occasionally it affects the video as well. Have you had any other reports of that?
So we haven't had any other reports of that particular issue, but what you're describing, I would tell you, can be often attributed to even just a poor connection or a connector on the cable that's feeding your devices that's just not grounded properly and it affects the audio and video quality.
Well, then there are two of us because I talked to somebody else who's having the same problem.
Okay, great. So what you may want to do is just give your information to Natalie and she'll be happy to get that over to my team and we'll check it out.
Thank you.
Okay, sure. All right, I pointed to Brianna. Natalie's back here. So. All right. Great. Well, thank you so much. I'm glad I could be here and appreciate you listening to me for a couple of minutes.
Thank you. All right, thank you, Dave. And just to note, as he just mentioned several times, that because this has been resolved, it could happen again. And so please let us know if it is happening with your email so that we can get it right back to IT and have them start to work on it. So Valerie and I will always accept that information. So thank you again, Dave. Next special guest is Brittany Davis, hopefully a face that you've seen around the community before. Brittany and I have actually been meeting for several weeks on a project to help better align the housekeeping schedule. And today you all are going to receive a letter in your mail cubby that gives a little bit more information as to what we're doing. So right now, the way that the housekeeping schedule works is based off of the way that you all moved in. So 101 moved in 2 years ago, and then the next day 201 moved in, and then 447 moved in. So that's how the housekeeping schedule is working, where on any given day, which one of their busiest days has over 20 cleans, they're moving from A, B, D, back to B, over to C, back to, I mean, it's really quite entertaining, if you will, but a lot of time is spent traveling. And so we sat down together and said, how can we make this better? The housekeeping schedule runs on a bi-weekly basis. So what we've come up with is a plan to do wings A and B, Wildcat and Cannon, the first week, and wings C, D, and E the second week. Okay? So this will affect some of you in your housekeeping current apartment cleans. Not everyone, but it will affect some. But I think doing this change will be huge in efficiency with the team. I really think they'll be able to find some more time, even in the 10 minutes it's taking them to travel and refill their carts. All those 10-minute time slots can add up to enough time to, can I say it, deep clean an apartment. And that's another one of the benefits where if we're able to make this adjustment and really utilize the team appropriately, we'll be able to get back onto deep cleans, which we're really hopeful for. So, Brittany, did you have anything to add in that regard? Okay. So these letters will be going out this afternoon. Again, it's a description of exactly what we're doing, why we're doing it, as well as your apartment number with your confirmed apartment day and time for your new cleaning. This will start on Monday, March 14th. Okay, so we still have some time. If for a reason your apartment time slot does not work for you, you can reach out to Brittany directly, but I will remind you, we clean 140 apartments within 2 weeks. Okay, so just make sure you take that into consideration. And I think that's all the notes I have. Before I free Brittany, does anybody have any questions specifically about the housekeeping schedule change? Good. Okay. Again, those letters, thank you, Brittany, will be going out this afternoon. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Brittany or myself. Again, I think this will be a really great change, and I will admit that Brittany is calling this her dream to make this change because of the efficiency that it will bring to the team. Do we have a question? Okay. Sure. Okay.
It's March. I have a spring cleaning question. So I wanted to take my curtains down and wash them and put them back up, but I can't do that myself unless I stand on a ladder, which I moved here so I wouldn't do.
Gotcha.
Is this a housekeeping thing or a facilities storage?
I would lean towards facilities request. Then they can come up and help take them down, and then when you're ready, put them back up for you. So we can put in a work order for you for that. Okay? Oh, and Helen had a question too.
Thanks for all you're doing. That's sounds like it free you up quite a bit. My question is whether the deep cleaning includes rug shampooing.
It's a great question. It is an additional charge as far as I am aware.
We can do any type of rug cleaning, any spills on your carpet, anything like that, but it would be an extra cost. But we can do that at any time. It doesn't just have to be your deep clean.
So since we're touching on deep cleans, which again, this project is going to get started on March 14th. We need some time to kind of, get rolling there, but that's when Brittany will really look at the schedule and say, how many deep cleans can we fit based on the amount of team members we have? Because in some apartments, it's almost up to 6 housekeepers to complete a deep clean, and it takes several hours. But we're both hopeful. We've looked at the schedule a few times to say, okay, even if we can fit the minimum amount in, we want to do that because we know it needs to be done. But there's a standard package, if you will, that's included within the deep cleans. And then Brittany will contact you directly to set up that date and time and share with you what it will include, and also if there's any extras you'd like to put into that, for example, shampooing the carpets. Okay. Sharon?
Windows?
I'm going to leave that question for Devin. Window washing or outside windows and screens? So window washing is included, and outside windows, we're working on that. That is a post-pollen project. Okay. Anyone else on housekeeping questions? Okay. All right, we're going to move on then. At the last forum, I don't think she's here, but a resident had a really great idea to make sure that I remind you all about life engagement and exactly what it is. So life engagement joined the community life team, so that's Stephanie Martinez, the life engagement manager, and her team members, which are life engagement partners, and they work in supportive living. They are, if you will, Valerie and I in supportive living. So they develop the events, they coordinate events, they set up for events, they break down from events, they contact performers, presenters, and they're orchestrating the on-site and off-site events for supportive living residents. What we're trying to do there is really meld the two together. We are one community, and so we want to have that fluid relationship that our events are open to supportive living residents and vice versa. So you'll see that a lot more on Vibrant, and I hope you have been seeing that. So 3rd and 4th floors in Newfound Lodge, Stephanie oversees those for the on-site and off-site events as the life engagement manager. And then Megan Wentworth, I'm sure you've heard her name before, if not met her. She's the memory support manager, and she oversees the 1st floor, memory support, and the 2nd floor, enhanced support. So they both manage over there, but life engagement is the activities and community relations, resident relations in supportive living. Mike's up next.
Hello, everybody. Volume good? All right, perfect. All right, so I wanted just to touch upon a few things that we're working on right now. Really looking forward to the spring and even into the summer. And so most of these things are a result of conversations with residents, right? Comments and conversations that have prompted us to work on some new programs and new projects. So the first one is we are in the process of developing a Tai Chi program. And yeah, good, excellent. I'm sorry, a couple thumbs up. So we are, Laurie is taking she's taking a course, a certification course. So she's learning a lot about Tai Chi, and our goal is to be able to launch that sometime in April, right? Probably early spring, right? Sometime in April. When we're ready to launch that, we're gonna conduct some workshops, have everybody come in, show exactly what we're looking at in that program, and do some demos and things like that, and have a Q&A so that everybody understands what that program is. We recognize that Tai Chi can be a really important component of fitness, and so we're working diligently on creating that program. Another thing that we're working on is a new Wednesday, Friday, 9 o'clock class. We also recognize that 9 o'clock is our most popular time slot of the whole day. And so we do have a couple, we have an opportunity for a couple additional classes on Wednesday and Friday at 9 o'clock. This is something that Allie is working on. She's creating a new class. It's going to be I'm excited about it. I'm really excited about it. It's a really creative idea that she has for this class. And it's gonna really supplement everything that we're already doing in our strength and balance classes, in our cardio classes, in our fall in love with the floor classes, in our walk tall classes, in our yoga classes, right? So it's gonna be a really, really cool, really creative, different kind of class. So I'm excited about that. Again, speaking of workshops, we'll have a couple workshops when we're ready to launch that, have people come in, explain exactly what that class is gonna be all about, and do some demos and have some Q&A and opportunity just to sit down and talk about exactly what that class is gonna be. So keep an eye on that one. Keep an eye on keep on the lookout for that one. That's going to be, again, launching that hopefully in April. The third thing, and I was actually just remembered that got the feedback after last Community Life Forum to talk slower. So I am I'm making an attempt. So third thing that we're working on is a Fitness 101 resident education series. This is going to be a lot of fun for anybody really interested in just digging into the science behind what we're doing, all of the why, how it all fits together, what's the science behind balance training, what's the science behind fall prevention training, and everything that relates to what we're doing within our fitness program. It's going to be an 8-week program. There's going to be parts of presentation, some hands-on aspect, and we're going to limit that to about 6 to 8 people. It's going to be a real pilot program, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Just allow us to really do a deep dive for anybody who's interested in just learning more about what we're doing. And the last thing, and this was a conversation that we had at the end of a class 3-4 weeks ago. At the end of, I believe it was a walk tall class, where we were really working on posture and walking speed and things like that. And the question was, what should we be doing every day? What are the few things that we should be doing every day? And so it reminded me of a phrase that one of my old mentors used to often say is, if it's important, do it every day. And so I'm starting to develop an if it's important, do it every day program. This would be 10 to 15 minutes of, what mobility exercises should you do every day? What postural exercises should you do every day? What should you do to prepare for a good night's sleep? What levels of hydration should you have? And you should make sure you're drinking plenty of water every day. Things like that, and really having a flexible, right? So this is going to be an individualized program. Something that most people will be able to just implement, fairly easy tips to do that every day that will really have a great impact on how you feel every day. So that's something that we're working on. Keep an eye out for that. And does anybody have any questions?
I'm thrilled that there's going to be a Tai Chi program, and I'm sure Lori is committed to learning it. But I would like to point out that Tai Chi is really not something that you can just learn quickly and turn around and teach. Is there any, has there been given any thought to getting an already experienced Tai Chi instructor?
So what we're doing is she's going through a certification process that does include an awful lot of hands-on coaching from experienced Tai Chi instructors. And so the plan is for her to be well prepared to teach those courses. Now, keep in mind, I don't know if anybody remembers, probably from the summer, she was teaching a Tai Chi Quan, so she's not coming at this from nothing, right, having no experience, right? She's taking what she learned from Tai Chi Quan, which, if memory serves, that's a program that was developed through Dartmouth Hitchcock in Lebanon. Is that correct? Excellent, good. All right, sorry, not New Hampshire. So I had to remember the name of it. So this was a program that was developed through them, the Tai Chi Quan. So I'm confident that she has a good, solid baseline that she's going to build from. Any other questions? Awesome, thank you all.
All right. Okay, next up, campus services. Just another appreciation to everyone for parking in their assigned, not spaces, but areas, if you will, for your cars that do not have covered parking. That's been very helpful to the facilities and campus services team during the snowstorms. Really excited about this one. This is what I would consider a green on the stoplight report, which is that we took your feedback from the resident satisfaction survey, and we're now doing transportation requests with only 48-hour notice instead of 72. Okay, so you'll be able to put in for that already starting today through Vibrant, or if you need further assistance, help at the front desk. But 48 hours is the new time frame rather than 72. So I hope some of you can appreciate and enjoy that luxury that we have here. Just wanted me to note that C&J in Portsmouth is now offering valet service. Woohoo! And she also wanted me to mention about updating your vehicle information, so insurance and registration. Anytime you have any updates, please just make sure you follow through either with Jess directly or at the front desk so we can get your paperwork updated in your file. Yes, question? Oh, lots of questions.
I don't know what valet service is, and updating is if it changed, not if you just got another year's.
Right, exactly. An official change. I know a resident who's not here, but just bought a brand new car, and so she had to give us all of her new car information. Beautiful car, by the way. Connie?
Are you still going to give out numbered spots for the parking?
We're still working through that right now for those who do not have covered parking. We're still working on that right now. I would say the best update that I can give and where we've left off last would be that the folks that do not have a covered spot at all, so right now we have those in the garage and those in the carport, there's a 2 or 3 handfuls full of folks that do not have even their single car covered. Those folks will get 1 assigned spot, and then everyone else will keep it an assigned area, because as you can see, if you're driving around the community, we are very limited on parking. And so to start assigning official spaces for around 40 cars right now would be if we did everybody got assigned parking spots, we would be in trouble. So I'm gonna leave it at that, and I will give a further update at the next forum next month. Brianna, she has a follow-up question after, but sorry, Bill. We'll get back to you.
Why not give the people that don't have any covered spots, there's about 12 or 15 people, I guess. Why not give them assigned spots now?
That's what we're saying right now. We just have not had a chance to finalize the plan, but that is what we're working on now. Bill?
Do you happen to know what the operating hours are for the C&J valet parking? It used to be 5 in the morning until 5 at night or something like that, but I don't know what it is currently.
Okay. Jess is thinking that it's similar, but we should always check their website to be sure. I don't know exactly.
What is it? I know nothing about valet
What is the
parking.
valet service?
Yeah.
Okay. Jess, can you speak to that?
Who has ever used valet service before? Ooh, okay. Valet service at C&J will, you pull up to the front door, they give you like a key tag. They'll take your information for your vehicle, and then they'll go and park your vehicle for you, take your bags out, and then you're able to just go in, take the bus, and go on your trip.
Great. That sounds like a wonderful service.
Ooh.
Okay, $20 fee.
Their website and phone number I can get for you guys, and they'll be able to give you all the information you're looking for.
Yeah, how about we plan to put in the community updates this week? That way people can do their own research too. But since we don't provide transportation to the airport, we like to promote C&J. Campus services and flight crew continued. Megan Driscoll, who you've definitely met before, and Shauna, one of our housekeepers, They both became LNA certified, so hats off to them. You may be seeing them a little less because they're filling in shifts already multiple days a week. So congratulations to them. And again, another reason why flight crew is such a cool and unique department, because they have that flexibility to be, you know, working with administration, managing housekeeping, doing housekeeping, those kinds of things. And we have one new flight crew member starting tomorrow. His name is Craig. He had a really nice background, so I wanted to share that with you. Craig comes to us as a former operations manager of American Airlines out of Logan Airport. Stemming from this exciting career with American Airlines, Craig's went on to work for Staples for the last 15 years as an operations manager, and recently retiring and working at a local golf course part-time. Craig is excited to join our vibrant community. I also find it very interesting that he worked for the airlines and now he's gonna work for flight crew. So, I don't think we'll be flying any planes out of here, but you honestly never know at Riverwoods Durham. Big announcement, he's in this room, so he has a big speech planned. No speech. Mark Sylvester has worked with us since August of 2020. He's been a huge star and an incredible team member and in operations for campus services. And as I mentioned in my letter, you probably have seen him before and he may have even helped you with some IT services. So we're still working to backfill Mark's current position as campus services associate. But once that is in play, he'll start the onboarding process. He has a lot of shadowing and learning to do, but as far as the IT part goes and the patience level, he has those both down. Okay, I can tell you that. But again, hats off to Mark, and I'll be working closely with him to make sure you all understand the process of how to put in IT requests. There may be things that we can't do, so we'll get into all of that. But we're really, really excited, and welcome Mark to the Community Life team.
Thank you.
Thanks. Good. Does anybody have any questions about this role? Okay, good. Yeah, let's go through those now.
Do you plan, Mark, to do mostly one-on-one IT help, or you're going to offer some classes?
Oh, good. Thank you.
I'll start off doing, one-on-one specific problems with people. My goal is to have classroom-style seminars, if you will, instructional classes. I think I'll be asking for some feedback. What are you all interested in? Learn. I have a few ideas of my own, but they may not be exciting to you, so.
Other questions?
I have a question about, is there because we just got the thing from facilities where there are things that included and things that you kind of pay extra for, I didn't know whether in IT there are things that will be included, and then if you want extra help with something, that might.
Yeah, and those are some of the things we're still ironing out. I can't speak too concrete on this right now because again, we're still working on it. But if Mark spends 5 hours with you and can't figure out the solution, then I'm probably going to say that you may need to reach out to someone, an outside source, ones that we've recommended before. And I did want to also point out too that Anthony is still a resource for network concerns at Riverwoods Durham, and Mark and Anthony are going to work very closely together. So that's really good too. But there'll be a system for submitting requests. Mark does the evaluation from there and then determines, okay, is this something I can help with, or do I need to get others involved? Is it a bigger Riverwoods issue? Those kinds of things. Looking forward to having Mark on the team. And if you have any suggestions now, too, of things that you'd like to see beyond one-to-one trainings, he'll have office hours in the Piscataqua room. I've encouraged him to start thinking about some how-to guides for the same questions we get. Valerie and I, too, are looking forward to having him on the team. So You're all very excited, and so are we. So anyway, again, congratulations, and you'll be getting further communication from me about next steps in this program. Okay, back to stoplight report. Things that we cannot do right now or may not be able to do ever. Things that we can do, but there's obstacles, and things that we can do have already been done or are in short order. So blood drive at Riverwoods Durham, I think Miriam chatted about this in her wellness announcement, but we're not getting a good response. We're not getting a response from the American Heart Association to have a blood drive here on site. If we get a response and are able to set that up with them, we'll be happy to do that. But in the interim, I would say check out local blood drives in the area because there definitely is a shortage, as I'm sure most of you know. Yellow still got handbook update on the listing. Brianna and I are another step forward. As Kim mentioned, there's a new mission coming out, so that's going to be announced in the new handbook too, and so we may wait until that is finalized in order to send you that, because we don't want to have to make another update after all these months. So that's the handbook, and then really exciting green, we got IT resident role. The new resident orientation that I touched on last time, that's going to start on March 18th, and so all the new residents within the past almost year who have moved in were invited to attend this first session. Once I have the first session and understand some feedback, I'm going to be making a family and friends version of this too, as well as a current resident orientation. So if anyone's feeling like they just want to hear an overview of what's offered, some handbook highlights, those kinds of things, you can attend as well. And 48-hour notice for transportation, I also added that to green because it's very exciting in the community life world. Your newest resident, Rosemary Wong, moved in 2 Mondays ago, and she's really excited to be here. Make sure you say hello. And she moved right from Durham, so I'm sure some of you know her from living in Durham too. Just 2 quick community life notes, as if they're not in the community updates enough. Please pick up after your dog. Please keep your dog on a leash. We've mentioned this a couple times, but a lot of sightings, dog sightings around, droppings outside as well as inside. And when that happens, our team has to pick up after the dog. So I would just ask that you're cognizant and watching the dog even as the dog is exiting and entering the building. We do have that off-leash hour for the North Trail. So if anyone's interested in that, I'm happy to talk about that too. But otherwise, your dog needs to remain on a leash at all times, not only for your dog's safety, but others as well. And humans, there are some residents here who do not enjoy dogs. And sort of on the same topic, a resident had asked me to include this in my presentation, in that some people have situations with dogs, and it's all recorded from community life, because if it's a real issue and it continues, it is something that we have to address directly. There's a couple of different stages. It's all written in the handbook. And I won't dive too deep into this, but if you want to see if there's any dog reports, or maybe your dog, maybe I've spoken to you a couple of times, you're just wondering the status of where your dog or cat is at, you can come and talk to Valerie and I. Those of you who have had dog situations are aware because I've spoken to you, or Valerie's spoken to you directly, or you received a letter from us. So again, those are not private files that can't be viewed, but the resident wanted me to point out that they're available if you want to look at them. So just want to make sure I mention that. Transparency. Upcoming events, not going to read through the whole listing, but some exciting ones coming our way. We have Soggy Po Boys tonight, which I hope everyone's going. It's going to be a thrill. We have an author reading on Friday, this upcoming Friday. That's actually a resident-run event. Shamrock Shakes on St. Patrick's Day, which is also an employee event too, so we're going to be collaborating. River Ramblers sing-along also on St. Patrick's Day. We have a comedian coming in on the 22nd, and we have tons of off-site events too for this month. And again, always open to suggestions. Just put them in the community life suggestion box in the Piscataqua room, and we'll do an evaluation. As always, see Vibrant for the latest listing and the most up-to-date information. I'd like to open it up to questions. Anybody? Okay. Well, I thank you and happy March again, and I will see you around the community.